Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
The Fargo Police Department says it is actively investigating a complaint one man made accusing officers of misconduct. On June 26th, the 19-year-old Larry Pope filed a formal complaint with the department alleging misconduct by two of their officers which allegedly occurred on June 22nd. Authorities say Pope was interviewed yesterday in his home in relation to the complaint. According to police, the interview produced several issues that will need to be followed up. Authorities will release more information once the investigation is complete. If anyone has information regarding the alleged misconduct, go ahead and contact Sergeant Aberly at this phone number, 476-4189. The North Dakota Bureau of Criminal Investigation will now be looking to take over the case surrounding former Fargo Police Deputy Chief Todd Osmundson and his apparent actions during the riot in downtown Fargo. Fargo City leaders say they forwarded the case to the North Dakota Attorney General for an outside review, but the Attorney General's office then sent it along to the BCI. Todd Osmundson went undercover during the May 30th riot and was seen with a beer, cursing at police. Some believe these actions may have incited protesters to turn violent, and others say it was flat out inappropriate. Fargo Police Chief David Todd has announced he will be addressing changes regarding the response to resistance policy, specifically related to chokeholds, at the upcoming commission meeting on Monday, July 13th. Officials say in light of the national conversations regarding criminal justice reform, city officials have been working on revising policies in the Fargo Police Department. Heading into the weekend, we're thinking a couple quiet, dry days would be nice. But now we're hearing about possible storms. And we have an update on the deadly tornado that hit Ottertail County. Let's get more on the evening ahead and all that from Hutch in his first alert forecast. Hey, Hutch.
Andrea, thank you so much. And we're going to go ahead and pass along that the Ashby-Dalton tornado update right away. 170-mile-per-hour wind speeds and an EF4 is what it was rated at its peak when it worked its way through. A couple of other highlights are the fact that it had those 170-mile-per-hour winds 650 yards wide at its widest, and also a 9-mile path that was on the ground for 31 minutes. Here's a look at that track starting between the Dalton and Ashby area, southwest of I-94. It crossed the interstate. It crossed Highway 82, and that's when it really strengthened to EF4 strength, lifting before Highway 12. It's in the 80s here in the valley right now, 70s elsewhere. Clouds are on the increase from the west. We'll be in the 70s for most of the evening. Those clouds will continue to increase, and in Grand Forks, it looks similarly dry as we go through the evening. Storms are building out to the west, and those storms are severe. I'll have details on a bumpy night for a few of us here in just a few moments.
All right, thanks, Hutch.
Kind of hard for me to imagine stealing from, a disabled guy.
A North Fargo man is still searching for answers after he says his tricycle, which was his only mode of transportation, was stolen from him last week. However, the man tells Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter, Bailey Hurley, thanks to the giving community of Fargo-Moorhead, he's starting to restore his faith in humanity.
It's not something you see every day.
If anybody wants to laugh at me right now, so be it.
Because for Ron Odell, it's the only way.
Especially this year with the COVID, I didn't want to ride the buses or the taxis unless I really had to,
Suffering from severe heart disease as well as dealing with extreme side effects from his medications, Odell says riding his trike was easier on his body than walking and says it helped get him out of the house at least 3 or 4 times a week.
I'm too dizzy to balance a two-wheel bike. So this was all I had. It was really a hard loss to take.
Odell took to local Facebook groups this week asking others to help keep an eye out for his 3-wheeled beauty, and says his post has since blown up with people from all over the community offering to buy or give Odell a new trike for free.
It helped me a great deal to see the good people again because, there's so much ugliness going on.
And while grateful to have the opportunity to get around again, Odell says he's still holding out hope.
If the person that took it is watching or listening, I'm still saying bring it back and no questions asked. I would take it in a heartbeat.
In North Fargo, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
Odell says he made a report with police and alerted all local pawn shops. If you have any information, you can call dispatch at this phone number, 701-451-7660. And this story came to us through our whistleblower hotline. If you need help with an issue in your area, give us a call, 237-6576, and leave your tip. A member of our team will get on the case and go to work to expose the truth. Fargo police want you to know about 2 high-risk sex offenders who are now homeless in the metro. Officials say Tayari Meadows was convicted in December of 2015 for human trafficking in North Dakota. Police say she lured a teenage girl walking home from school, then forced her to be a sex slave. Meadows brought the young girl to Williston, where the teenager was raped by numerous men who then paid Meadows. Police say Jason Dvorak engaged in sexual conversations with an 8-year-old girl. High-risk sex offenders are considered the most likely to reoffend. One man is recovering after a fiery plane crash in Pembina County near the Canadian border. The crash happened Thursday morning. A Border Patrol agent saw the plane coming down and rushed to the scene. That agent rescued the pilot from the burning plane and took him to safety. The pilot was eventually taken to a Grand Forks hospital where he's in stable condition. The FAA is now looking into what went wrong. State health officials are confirming 84 more cases across North Dakota, bringing the number of active cases to 573. There have been no more deaths attributed to the illness, meaning the death toll still stands at 85. 33 patients are currently hospitalized, while nearly 3,500 are listed as recovered. In Minnesota, Department of Health numbers show 609 new COVID-19 cases today, bringing the active case count to 3,830. 5 new deaths are also reported. That brings the death toll to 1,495. Over 35,000 Minnesotans are listed as recovered. The World Health Organization is set to begin its investigation into how the coronavirus originated. It comes as China is giving the world its first glimpse into its top-level biosafety laboratory in Wuhan. CBS's Ian Lee reports from London.
These are the images of the Wuhan biolab China wants the world to see. State media showing the scientists operating with the utmost care. The lab comes with a biosafety platform to ensure researchers are safe from the pathogens they are working on and that the pathogens stay within the lab, says the director. The origin of the coronavirus still remains a mystery. Some U.S. officials believe the lab could be ground zero.
We don't have certainty, and there is significant evidence that this came from the laboratory. Those statements can both be true.
2 experts from the World Health Organization will arrive in Beijing this weekend to begin the investigation into the virus. This comes as U.S. officials criticize the WHO for being too lenient on China.
We can fight the virus better when we know everything about the virus, including how it started.
We know that the coronavirus emerged at a nearby wet market, and there are plenty of theories. Did it come from a bat, pangolin, or as some suggest, the lab itself? The director denies the last allegation, saying there have been no accidents of pathogen leaks or human infections. But a big question remains. As the world demands answers, will the notoriously secretive China allow a thorough, transparent, and independent investigation? Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
More than 120 nations called for an investigation into the origins of the virus at the World Health Assembly in May. China has insisted that the World Health Organization lead that investigation, but not until the pandemic is brought under control. The Group 1 Fargo is set to hold a memorial at Island Park this evening to honor Elijah McClain, a young black man who died after an encounter with police. McClain was put in a chokehold by police and sedated by paramedics when he was walking home from a convenience store last August. He went into cardiac arrest and died days later in the hospital. The memorial will be held at Island Park from 7 to 8:30 this evening. We'll have more on this tonight on Valley News Live at 9 and 10. A federal judge is now rejecting a request from the operator of the Dakota Access Pipeline to halt an order to shut down the oil pipeline during a lengthy environmental review. The U.S. District Judge denied the company's request Thursday, and that now sends the case to a panel of appeals court judges. On Monday, the judge ordered the pipeline shut down by August 5th for an additional environmental assessment more than 3 years after it started pumping oil. Still ahead tonight, an author has gone viral for the way she's explaining systemic racism using a board game.
And we're tracking storms out in the western part of the Dakotas, now approaching Williston, where we have our first alert camera trained in on some storms pushing in to the Williston area. Your hour-by-hour forecast is next.